let's go through the DrawCar application in the way that I would do it. I know some people struggled thinking through what they're going to do, so let's go through it quickly. So this is the car that we want us to draw. So we have a length and a height. So it looks like two boxes, two circles. We want it to make it eventually it will be easy to draw many different cars, and we want to enter the specifications of the car: length, height, color, body, color, wheels, position. And then we want some colors to be used, chosen by the user using text, for example blue. Okay, so let's break this apart. So our end goal is to draw the car, which is two boxes and two circles with the user data. But let's start at the beginning. So I think step 1 should be drawing something on the screen. Step 2, draw a box, then we'll draw the car body, then we'll put wheels on it, then we'll make our buttons work, and then we'll take user input. So let's start in that direction. So let's draw a car. So in the DrawCar constructor, we need to put something here. So let's set up our buttons. So we've initialized the UI already. So let's just make a button. Let's just make anything can happen. Draw car, and we'll make it so that this, maybe we'll make a drawer. Forgot that. Okay, so down here let's make a new method. We'll call it public void drawer. When I click it, let's say UI.draw rectangle. Make it 100 to the left, 50 down. It will be 50 wide, and it will be a height of about 100. Okay, so let's run that and make sure that something happens. Cool, so far so good. Draw car, press the button, and a box appears. Well, that's good. We've drawn something on the screen. That's promising. And in fact, we've drawn a box. Now let's draw the car body. So let's make a new method called DrawCar. And at the moment we won't make it take any arguments, will just be a simple thing. And it's we'll move this down to here, and let's have the drawer, this dot draw car, and that's it. And in fact, let's just take the x and y as a let's take the x and the y as some arguments. We'll say double x, double y. And then when we draw this rectangle itself, it'll just be x and then y. Cool, so we've started to extract this a little bit. Our draw car button we'll call the drawer method, and the drawer will in turn call draw car with a couple of arguments. Alright, so let's save this and let's have it run and see what happens. Okay, draw car, boom, perfect. So far so good. Things are working. We just need to finish off the car body. Up here I've got a little diagram of what the car could be. So we have one kind of rectangle, we have another rectangle, and we have two wheels. So let's draw our two rectangles first. it's probably not strictly necessary how we draw this. I think it'll be easier to just split the length into 4, and then the cab can be fourth, just a quarter, and then we'll split the height into, because it's not exactly half, right? I split it into 5, and then we'll make 2/3 of it up there, and we'll make 2/5 and then 3/5. And we'll do the circles in a minute. Okay. All right. Where'd my clips go? Okay. So let's do that. So for our rectangle, so let's set the color first. So let's set color to color.red. Should we have? And this will be our first rectangle. So it'll be our X and Y, which is our top left corner. X and Y. We want it to be a quarter of the total length wide, and a fifth. If that's a third, we want it to be a full. We want it to be the full height, basically. Nope. So let's do that. So our first one is X and Y. We'll make it the total length, which we haven't decided yet. But let's just put it up here for now. Length equals 200. And it'll be length divided by 4. So we have a problem here because color has not been imported. We've only imported the ECS100 library. So let's hover over here, click import, and it's imported. Perfect. So we've got the and let's have the height as well. So in this case, let's say the double height can be 100, and for now let's just set it to that. So we have one red square, starts at the X and Y up here, and its length for height. Cool. Close this, we'll run it again. Okay, DrawCar, perfect. Alright. And we've managed to pass down a couple of arguments. We haven't hard-coded anything in here, so that's really nice. While we're at it, though, let's just go here and add the length and the height here. So we'll say, what do I say? Length 200, height 100, and we'll move these up to here. So double length, double height, and we'll comment these out, and it will still work, but these are getting passed in from the DrawCar. Alright, and we can run it to make sure. I like running regularly to make sure everything works still. We haven't broken anything. Perfect. Alright, let's work on the second square. So let's go, make sure we use a different color. Color dot. Let's make it blue. Alright, so for the second square, it's gonna come. It's gonna be a third. So it's going to be the y coordinate is going to be 2/5 of the height, and the height of this rectangle is going to be 3/5 of the height. The width is going to be length, and we've already done that. So let's do that. You might not draw rect. We'll fill in the fill later. I think it's just good to see. Okay, so what did we decide? X is going to be the same. Y we want it to be, we want to add the height divided by 5. We want to make it times 2. Let's put all that in brackets so we don't get too confused. And in fact, let's put that whole thing in brackets so we don't get confused. The length is going to be the same, and the height similar to what we've just done. Let's say the height divided by 5, and it's going to be 3/5. So if we've done this right, we should have 2 rectangles here. So let's run this again. We haven't hard-coded in too much. Let's draw the car. Okay, looking good. Alright, and let's extract this now. So let's get rid of that. We've done that already. Let's fill these instead of drawing them. And this color we can move up to here. So let's say color, car color, because it's going to be wheel color as well. And then we'll say color.red. We'll put that there. So now when we set it, we'll call it car color. And if you press Control Spacebar, it will autofill what's left. I'll give you an option. So you don't have to type these long names, but it's good to be descriptive. Okay, that's pretty good. What are we looking at now? Let's run it again. Perfect. Cool, we've got the body. Let's move on to the circles. Alright, let's make these set color. While we're at it, let's just set a new variable inside called wheel color, which we haven't used yet. Go up to there, edit. It's getting pretty long. So I did it again, and what do we want the wheel color to be? So we've got to make a new argument, so we need color.black. Alright, so everything agrees. From the DrawCar, we're passing this in, which was the wheel color, and now we're using it down here. UI.draws, that's an oval, isn't it? So if you remember, for these circles, the length is the same as the height. And let's just use something here. Let's just set it as double wheel size. Let's make it, we can make it like a quarter of the length maybe. So if the length is 200 and we divide it by 4, it'll be 50. So it might work. It's something anyway. So down here, we'll say wheel size. At X and Y. X and Y is not where we want it, is it? We'll talk about that in a second. So, but let's just make sure we're drawing something. So we're drawing these little circles there. Okay. Might as well fill those. Alright, so the X is not at the top. The X is at the X plus height. So that's what we want to do. Sorry, the Y plus height. But actually, when it comes to wheels and circles, it's quite confusing because they're drawn from this top left corner here. But it would be a lot easier if we could draw them from the middle. Then we can choose the size, and we can have so it's just a lot easier to write. So I usually just make a new method here called draw a circle from center. Draw a circle from center, and it's taken most of the same thing, but it's a circle. So double X, double Y, double size. Now here we can pull this down to inside this, and well, whatever, I guess we can call it whatever we want, but save some time. Alright, and we don't need it to we change it a little bit, because we say the X, we want to fill the oval we want to start backwards. So I'm going to give this coordinate, but I want you to draw it here and here. So that's the size divided by 2, the radius. I'm on each one. So wheel size divided by 2, and Y is again minus wheel size divided by 2. And it's going to take wheel size, wheel size. I need to call that. So let's go this dot, draw a circle from center. It's not going to be, so first one's going to be x, and then y is going to be plus height, and then wheel size is the size that we're passing in. And let's do it again, but we don't want them on top of each other. We want the x plus the length. Okay, so we want to start here, and then we want to add this length to it to draw the circle out here rather than up here, which is going to be confusing. Okay, so I hope everyone's with me so far. So we're almost there, and we have our car. Perfect. How long did that take? Cool. Alright, so let's go back to our steps. So we've drawn the car body, we've drawn the wheels, we've actually made the button, which is nice. So now let's take the user input. And since we've been working with these variables the whole time, and we've been passing them in, it's not going to be too much work to ask the user for this information. And in fact, we could do it up here. So we could say, when they click draw, we could start getting some information. So we want, the first one is the x. Double x is equal to, we say UI dot ask for double, and we'll just say x. You could make it longer or shorter. There's going to be a few of these, so let's just copy and paste them. X, y. Maybe you want to test it a little bit more often. Remember, this is the length, so we'll say length, height. The color we're going to have a little bit more problems with. We'll do that in a second. The height is equal to height, and let's just comment that out for now. Let's just make sure this works. This is not going to work right now, so x, well, it's going to work, but not how we want it. X, y, length, height. Color red, color black. Okay, so this should work. We click the button, it calls the draw method. The method asks them for questions, and then it draws a car based on that, which we've done down here. Let's give this another run and have a look. Make sure everything's working. Click the draw. X, I don't know, 200, 300. Y, 350. Length, let's make it 400. And the height, I don't know, 200. Alright. Looking good. Okay. And in fact, if we want to draw another one at 20 and 30, and we want to make it 400 long and 400 high, which could be pretty ugly, we'll draw it here as well. You might want to fix this up later, but this is all good. Alright, and in fact, I think I want to make a clear button because it's getting kind of messy. So let's add a button. We'll just call it clear. And there's a good method in the UI class called clear graphics. The autocomplete is not as good for this part, but it's looking alright, and that does work. So, okay, alright, so all we have to do now is ask for the color. The color was a little bit trickier, wasn't it? Because we need to ask them for some different things and then check them against that. But I think we can do that without too much trouble. Okay, so let's say double string. Let's ask them a question first. No, sorry, what? Let's string, let's call it user car color. Just doing the American spelling to keep up with everything. Keep the same as everything else, and it will be UI.ask string car color. Car color. And just do well, we can do the wheels is just going to be the same logic, so let's just do that for now. So let's just do a check. So if user car color, we would be tempted to use equals blue, but we can't compare strings with that, and it's telling us that especially doesn't like single quotes. It's telling us we can do it. We're going to have trouble doing that, I think. So let's just dot equals. We'll have troubles later on. Ugh. Equals blue. Then we want to set the color to red. So we need a new variable up here. Color, car color. Let's set a default in case something happens and it blows up, and it's gonna be grey. If they don't choose a color, it's gonna be grey. Sometimes it's good to set some defaults. Equals blue, but if they type equals blue, then car color is equal to color dot blue. Else if, and this is where you would put all of them. It's gonna be painful. You put else if user color dot car color is equal to color dot red. Okay, and we'll do the same for the wheels. And down here, instead, when we set the color, we'll set car color. All right. And you'd want to do a lot more for this. Write this again for the wheels. We didn't end up using that. Okay. It's all pretty good, I think. Alright, let's run it. The ultimate test. And we have DrawCar. X, 200 please. Y, 300. Length, 300. Height, 100. Car color. What did I save? Blue is okay. Blue should work. So blue. Oh, perfect. Let's draw another one. X10, 23. Length, 30. Oof, height, 12. I don't know if I'll be able to see that. If I enter nothing, it will enter a grey car here. Perfect. Alright. Well, I think that's everything. That's how we've stepped through it. We've made a few new methods passing this information around. Get rid of our code that we don't need. Another step that we could do is maybe we could make a public method called draw wheels, maybe, and we could just take that. That's going to be, it will still work, I suppose, if we move it down here, or we can pass this in as an argument, which would probably be better, actually. So then we'll move color as wheel color, and then when we call it this dot draw wheels, we'll get wheel color from here, and we'll pass it through to there, and then it will draw the wheels. We could also pull this away, and the wheel size it doesn't like because it hasn't used it, so we forgot to pass that in. We can do this in any order as well. It gets past wheel size, which gets worked out from the previous one, which might be okay. Double wheel size. Alright. It doesn't like that at all because it's working all of those heights out separately. And if you wanted to keep doing it, you could have these x and y and height. You could save them as class methods. So up here, class aren't variables, so you could say double length is equal to 100, and then this dot length is is equal to whatever they put. So when they type in length, it will set it up here, and then this length will be available to everyone in here, including this one, including this in Draw Wheels. That would be another way to do it if you don't want to pass everything through. Actually, I'm not sure what would be the best design here. We can also put this into a new class. But cool, that's all. I hope that's all clear. If there's any questions, just put them in the comments or ask me. Yeah, have a good day.